here we are, back to werewolves again. Yeah. It's a show that is again rated R because werewolves. There will be potential frenzies and mayhem and slaughter and so on. Welcome to Myth Machine, and who's with us today?
Should I go first?
Yes, you should.
Hello, I am Dominic, or Domi for short. Today I will be playing a Bryce, the Black Fury Philodox werewolf. A bit of a radical woman.
As is right and proper for a Black Fury Philodox, right? So who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go next. I am El Duende, and I will pronounce any all. I will be playing Jake Stromfeld, the homeless man / punch guy of the group.
Yes, very much.
I go by Enter. I will be playing Miranda Blackpool, a aspiring architecture student and fighter of urban decay.
Yes. We don't like urban decay. We like urban rejuvenation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that means in this context, but probably not slums and stabbings in the dark and such like.
That seems like good place to start.
All right, and Roger.
I'm Roger. I'm playing Miles Lincoln, Glasswalker Galliard, who is a New York bohemian, pirate radio host, and electronics expert.
Welcome to New York Pirate Radio X55 Crinus. Or not. I don't know. What is the name of your radio station? We need to establish this.
Radio Starline.
Radio Starline, yes. It's not Radio Luna then? Because...
That would be a bit on the nose.
Maybe it is a little bit on the nose.
And it's got a big nose. It doesn't need to be easier to boop.
Alright, we went through last time character generation, and this time we're gonna start the story, but before we do that, I just wanted to establish a few things. And one is, of course, the journey. We've already done a little bit of chatting on the Discord, but people have busy lives, so maybe we don't have done enough. I don't know, we'll find out in a moment. Between the first change and you all being in a warehouse in Manhattan, ready for the Rite of Passage, as it were. Why don't we put down some pictures here of all these lovely pups. You're all pups, that's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm just a baby.
Just a baby.
A very angry baby, but a baby nonetheless.
Baby werewolves, exactly. And, of course, after your first change, each one of these pups will be walking through the world in days, possibly, very confused by what just happened, because suddenly the world went from being completely normal to, when I get very angry, things break very quickly. Or such like.
People.
In at least some of the cases, because we had someone who could jump very far too, and Miranda who could see into a whole different world.
Yeah.
How does that
Really
even...
doesn't help when she's trying to learn in a classroom.
Right?
It's too easy to be distracted if you can see a different universe whenever you want.
Exactly. She looks out the window, and other students who look out the window see the schoolyard, and she sees that stuff with jagglings and gafflings crawling over each other like electricity lines that are actually electric spiders running in them. Like they're... For us, it looks like just power line, and for you, it would look like more or less like a hose, like a hyperloop with electric spiders running through them
Metal fuck.
really high speed.
Well, I
Miranda...
think technically it would only look that way if it was direct current. They'd all be running in one direction. If it was alternating current...
They'd be like fist fighting each other every once in a while.
Exactly. Everything is weird. And she can see that, like, the houses are sleeping because obviously they have spirits too. Everything has spirits around. So it's... I don't know if Miranda realizes that it's spirits immediately, though. I also don't know why I start with Miranda, but that's, your character names, first names, alphabetical order reversed. So that makes sense. Very convoluted, but there we are. Yeah, but Miranda's world is going to be a bit upside down, and what are her thoughts about all? I don't think that she's even gone. Her first change, sooner or later, she's going to wake up or realize that she can change into a wolf and some other, intense forms as well.
Yeah, right now she just realizes that the universe is so much bigger and that she's also not insane, because sometimes she tries to interact with these things and these things do things that other people can see. So she's, okay, I'm not crazy.
She shorted out the electricity in the school, didn't she?
It was very easy.
She talked to the electric spirits, and they were like, okay, if you want us all to chill, we can do that. And the electricity for the entire school went out. And
she egged it on to see whether it could do anything interesting, and it blew all the fuses.
Exactly. And the janitor is absolutely mystified, because everything looks like it should work. Oh, the fuses. Every single fuse at once? Really? How?
Yeah, students do that.
The janitor's going to put a gun in his mouth right now.
That's hilarious.
I was about to say, students love the short circuit things. Usually not by talking to spirits, though. So that's one is new.
That one is new, and it's
this one gives me plausible deniability.
Yeah, it's usually not every single fuse at once either, because that's an interesting start. What is Miles's first reaction after he has jumped the entire stairwell? He had a dream before that, because we're using the gift now of hair sleep, aren't we? You must have dreamt about some kind of animal spirit that you talked to, and this was before you did the thing, Miles. Were you dreaming about jumping lessons from a rabbit, a hare, a frog, or a kangaroo?
I think just for the weirdness, it has to be kangaroo.
Just for the weirdness. That makes sense.
In Arlington, Texas.
The fuse manufacturer just got a surge in business. It was an excellent pun. There was XP involved in that.
The spirit is happy. It's getting the first maintenance it's had in years.
Very. So a kangaroo spirit. Let's see now. What did we have here for you? You had 2 dots in wisdom. You know what? That means that you're actually going to have a dot in glory as well, aren't you? At the end of all this, Miles, because you can't have hair's leap if you don't have glory, basically. At the end of this story, you're going to have a dot of glory whether you like it or not. We'll have to backtrack it like that, basically, because you have 2 dots of wisdom for being a bone gnawer. Or do we want to retcon this away from hair's leap to something else?
No, I definitely want hair's leap, but I'm Glasswalker, not bone gnawer.
Oh, sorry, yes, you're Glass... Yeah, okay, fair enough. And Glasswalkers apparently have the wisdom.
Yeah, we both get 2 wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of all this, you're going to have some glory renown for Miles. He's going to get into a tiff and get some glory somehow. We'll consider this a prelude, right? So you had a weird dream where you dreamt about a kangaroo who taught you things, and suddenly you can jump like a kangaroo. And what is Miles gonna, like, how is Miles gonna connect those dots?
I think once he figures out what he can do, once he's jumped out of the subway station, he just feels, because he's like from New York, he's been a creature of the city all his life. He just wants to do it again, and he's going on like the most epic free-running binge imaginable. And just because of the Glasswalker, how he's in tune with all the city, as he's just jumping from rooftop to rooftop. You imagine that cyberpunk song playing that goes, "Feel the rhythm of the streets." Neon lights and neon dreams.
Why does it say renown, honor, and hair sleep in there, and renown, glory, and okay? We'll straighten that out. But you feel like this inner rage that is gonna fuel. Yeah, I'm sure Miles have reasons to feel anger at different things, society in general, if not nothing else.
In a society.
Exactly. But the more he does it, the less angry he gets, and eventually he's not even gonna be able to do it anymore because he's just tapped out completely. Because it's a raid check for every time you're using Hair's Leap. So eventually you're just gonna be like, yeah, okay, I'm done. This is weird.
Sleep till Brooklyn, then a lot of sleep.
Yeah, then a lot of sleep. He's not gonna regain. This is known as, when you get 0 rage, that is known as losing the wolf. And you don't actually regain the wolf until you've howled at the moon, which I feel like someone has to tell you about, because it's not a thing that you just do naturally. Unless you're a werewolf, maybe?
Yeah. Although Miles does have the compulsion to turn into a wolf when he sees the moon every night. So I guess...
That's a fair point, yeah. He does have the moon thralled.
Yeah. Just the kind of cultural thing of howling at the moon may have been strong enough to try it at least once.
Of course, you can't actually make the change if you don't have rage, right? So you need that rage.
Well, how does that one work? Because you can howl at the moon without being a wolf.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So first you howl at the moon, then you get yourself 1 rage, and then you do the rage check to shift.
Yeah, I can imagine if he actually blew out his ability to turn into a wolf in one night, he could just think, okay, that was really weird, but it's gone now.
Yep, I think so. Until someone will knock on the door and have a word with you. Jake has a very different situation, of course, because the very first thing that happens for him is that someone doesn't knock on his door, but knocks on his jaw a little bit. This being, of course, Arnguth Stormbrite, who has been chasing this particular evildoer that was attacking you. I'm gonna say that he's not been chasing this guy alone, because Arnguth has a pack, of course. Though maybe Arnguth... So maybe you were actually this close to being snatched by a whole group of traffickers or something, Jake.
Oh.
Which is even worse. We're talking an organized crime syndicate who was like, yeah, here's a young fellow who we can use in...
Yeah, Jake, besides being an exceptionally good fighter, is a great victim because he has no family, no home, nothing.
Exactly. That's perfect. Maybe Jake then was, in fact, there was a whole pack full of them here who just enjoyed you doing the thing. And applauds your, shall we say, prowess in very quickly murdering all the people. You're worth something! Yay! Jake, as you have been tossed around a bit by Arnguth Stormbrite himself, what might we have to say to this man, who is obviously a physical specimen? Aside from the fact that he's lacking 1 eye, that he definitely lost in a fight somewhere, and he's old. He's not a young fellow, but there's no doubt in anyone's mind who looks at him that don't mess with this guy because he's going to do terrible things to you if you even think about it.
Character energy is what you're saying.
What was that?
He has main character energy.
He has... Okay, maybe that's what the kids say nowadays. Said the old man.
He has repeat offender energy.
Yeah, he has a scar running from basically the hairline on his forehead all the way down to his jaw, right through his eye. He's taken beatings in the past. But yeah, he's tells Jake very quickly about what he is and what his tradition, like where he comes from, just inherently. Are we saying here that Jake actually gets the best introduction to being a Garou of all of you? I think so.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because Arnguth is going to teach you how to change, what it means to be a rune, what it means to be get a Fenris, how you speak to the spirits in your dreams or otherwise, to learn the new gifts, all that stuff. He's...
Yeah. And I guess basically Jake's first reaction once he gets the first little spiel is basically, I guess we're doing werewolves now. And it's just like, it's like,
he scowls a lot, this man. There's a lot of anger in him all the time. And I think he's probably channeling a little bit, what's his name again? Drill Sergeant energy.
yeah, basically,
Get on your feet, maggot!
basically Jake has been drafted into the military, but Yif style.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
I will never not mention Yif.
That's... you
We're
should
grateful.
stop mentioning Yif. Meanwhile, Bryce...
You expose yourselves, okay? You expose your weakness, your soft belly, and I exploited it.
We did. I concede. Meanwhile,
Don't.
Bryce...
Mm-hmm.
How is she? You haven't started with Mentor. It's gonna take a moment before you get picked up by the Black Furies, but you will get picked up by them. What is happening between the moment you get picked up by them and her first change, when she's on her own and confused by the fact that she just murdered cops or something? Did you murder them? I don't know. I feel like you cut them really
It's
deep.
implied.
It's implied, yeah.
Imply
It's my
combat.
time to say ACAB.
Yeah.
I think like she will lay low for a little bit, considering everything that has happened. Every once in a while, coming out to talk with her like punk group, so to speak, her little gaggle of activists.
The fact that you still have, because we put them on the sheet as your group, luckily enough, they're still around, right? Otherwise, they would have ran away because they would have been struck by the delirium and been completely traumatized and never wanted to see Bryce again because they now think she's a homicidal maniac. But that's not what happens. Apparently, you were the only one among them around, or something, because you didn't make them scarred by the delirium. Isn't that nice? But I'm sure... Oh wait, this is 1990. Maybe the cops don't even know that it was Bryce who did it. Like, Bryce is not the strongest person in the whole wide world, right?
Like,
Does it?
a young adult lady, she's not particularly strong. Like she's a little bit strong than the average 19-year-old kid.
Athletic, but does it look like she can tear a couple of cops to absolute shreds like that?
Oh, she doesn't look like the type to toss a literal cop car around.
No. So the cops are gonna be on the lookout for something else. I don't even know what the police report will say, to be honest. It's gonna be very confusing. We have no idea.
Black Bear randomly shows up.
In the middle of New York City, or the outskirts of New York City. Maybe it's the outskirts of Brooklyn. Still, you don't have bears in the outskirts of Brooklyn. This is not Vancouver.
Pack of feral dogs.
Feral dogs, yes,
If you
had to
tip-
be.
If you tipped over a police car, maybe they'll think Lou
There was a
Ferrigno
lot
did
of
it.
feral dogs.
The zoo was transporting some animals, and the car hit the police car, and all of the animals escaped.
I really don't want to be the detective assigned
Maybe
to
a
this case.
tiger or something escaped from a zoo.
Yeah, that's that scene in the 70s film of The Incredible Hulk where Lou Ferrigno tips a car over. The way plan to do that was to jack it up on chains so it was just at the tipping point and he just push it the last bit of the way over. But when they were filming it, the chain broke and it was the last shoot of the day and he just wanted to go back to the hotel, so he tipped it over for real.
Yeah, Bryce will start hiding out a little bit, and the local news station, because obviously Brooklyn has its own TV and newspapers, will mention the feral dogs attack local cops, and there's going to be like a police funeral if you killed them, which is going to be the New York City's finest are gonna be lined up there and give the fallen constables their send-off, and the whole town is in a frenzy. Not pardoning the pun. And Bryce is hiding out and just hoping that it all goes away and nobody links it to her, which nobody should, but because there were all the news on this is going to talk about feral dog attacks and rabid dogs, and animal control is patrolling the streets to try and chase down these alleged rabid dogs. Yeah, that had to be rabid dogs. Just Miles and Miranda, being both glasswalkers, you're going to be approached by Flash. He's a nice
We've
guy.
been flashed?
No, that's his name.
What, does he flash people?
No. No, he is a fellow who is sharply dressed for 1990. Nice blazer. The most in fashion necktie you can imagine. Imagine he's not quite as sleazy as the sales guy in Die Hard, but he has the same fashion sense. And I'm talking about the first Die Hard movie here. Yeah. And he has a nice long ponytail to go with it. And he is the one who's going to introduce himself to Miranda, I guess, when she's on her way home from school. He has his pilot reflective Ray-Bans and everything, and he's, hey, hi there. Hi there, kid. Don't worry, I'm Flash. How are you? I know you're not supposed to talk to strangers.
She's going to turn up the Walkman, just make it very clear that she's got her headphones on. just try to zigzag around him if he's trying to get in away.
Hey, I know you're walking here, but yeah, give me a break.
I don't know you.
No, you don't know me. You're right. Stranger danger, all that stuff.
Not really, it's just I don't know you, so why you want to talk to me?
'Cause I know your friends, and I'm not talking about your school pals. I'm talking about the stuff on the other side.
Yeah, that's gonna stop her. She's, oh, what?
And he's just gonna do the thing with the glasses where he just pulls them down on his nose and looks at her.
Yeah,
Smiles.
she's gonna do the thing where she looks at her in his eyes and try to see whether he's high.
No, he's not high. He's not high at all.
Okay. That's interesting. What? Sorry. How do you know me?
We've been keeping track of you. You're part of the family, you
Disturbing.
can say. You're part of the family.
What family?
That's
guys a
a
cult?
really long story. We need to talk. But we
So
shouldn't
that's
be
a
talking.
non-answer to the cult.
Yep. We need to talk, but we shouldn't be talking. Oh, okay.
What?
How
Who's
do we?
gonna believe us?
What was that?
We're on the street. People listen in, they'll think we're talking about a game or something.
All right.
The only weird thing is you're old as fuck.
He's 20-something, so yeah, I guess he's old as.
Compared to Miranda, yeah.
From Miranda, yeah.
Anyone
absolutely.
in their 20s is old.
Right, that's fair. How do I break this to you? You're a werewolf, and I am too. And I can teach you everything about that. You're not the only one I have to talk to, by the way. There's another guy I need to pick up, because first
Are you
change and
local?
everything. Yeah.
Okay. We walking somewhere or?
Yeah.
Don't really. Yep.
Yeah, he's walking somewhere. Yeah, what you've been seeing is the spirit world, okay, kid?
Yeah, the dark.
Well, I don't know if I think it's particularly dark all the time, but yeah, sure, why not?
And you can see it too.
Yeah, sure. All werewolves can. Not necessarily as easily as, I don't know, what moon you were born under necessarily. We'll find out. We'll find out. It takes a bit of work for some of us. And some of us do it very easily.
He's just gonna say, okay. I will be open to this experience. If you try any funny business, I will pepper spray you.
Fair, he says. It's a deal. And she doesn't even have insight, so that's a good reaction for her to go, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go.
She's got a lot of awareness, but no insight. Yeah,
Exactly.
She's not a people person.
Yeah, no, the whole.
If he starts reaching for something, she'll panic. But aside from that,
yeah, it's New York. You can expect all sorts of weirdos in New York because it's New York.
You can read a place, not a person.
But I think he's
much
gonna.
more interesting.
Let's see now. When is the first change here? I guess I've just randomized that Miranda changed before Miles did. How long might it be? In terms of months or weeks before Miles and Miranda changing. Apparently it's very short between the two of you. Isn't that nice? You will be going to... Where might Miles have parked his van where he is doing his pirate radio?
I've never been to New York, but from what you've in films and stuff, it looks like often there's just like a few streets that are really busy. But then if you get one or two streets off them, the street is just deserted for a mile. And it's probably down one of those quiet streets.
There are some streets that are quieter than others, absolutely. And if you go through the main avenues and thoroughfares, it's super, super busy, absolutely. You can definitely find quiet spots in the major metropolitan area. Again, New York is not just Manhattan, it's all of this surrounding stuff. And you could even say that most of what happens in New York happens outside of Manhattan. Manhattan is certainly downtown, but...
Hashtag bootleg Constantinople.
Yeah, you can live a full life out in Brooklyn without ever going into Manhattan, no problem. It's...
To be fair, I'm pretty sure since Miranda lives in Queens, like,
yep,
her school would probably be in that area, so it's
absolutely
it's a decent trip into the city.
Oh yeah, it takes about an hour to get in from there if you take the subway, half an hour maybe. And if you want to be like you can find less trafficked places everywhere in the city. Literally, if you find the right nook in Manhattan, you can broadcast from there. If you want to be out in in Brooklyn or Queens or the Bronx even, you can be doing your work from over there. Any of the boroughs could serve. Brooklyn and Queens are more brownstones. There are fewer high-rises there. You know the Manhattan skyline. It's high-rises all over. But Brooklyn and Queens have far less of those. It's much more typical other American city over Brooklyn and Queens. So you'll have low rises and 5-story buildings and brownstones of 3 and 4 stories and that kind of stuff around there.
I've got it's probably parked his Winnebago under one of those giant flyovers that Robert Moses wrecked the city with.
That would work. So we're gonna find a van under bridge, basically. That's where we're gonna find the van, and that is where the knock on the door on the van will come, as Flash with Miranda is coming to Miles's van. I think Flash will have told Miranda that, yeah, we're gonna pick up this guy. He's much like you. He's going through the first changes now. It's really weird for him. Apparently he's a radio jockey. I've been listening to some of his shows. It's pretty fun, actually. He's got away with words, this one. So, yeah, it's gonna knock on the van, Miles.
Yeah, Miles comes to the door, I imagine, probably looking slightly the worse for wear. And just like wearing trousers, either no shirt or open shirt, aviator sunglasses, and looking like he hasn't fully woken up yet. And as he opens the door, you can see behind him the walls of the Winnebago on the inside are just all lined with electronic equipment.
Rip to anyone with a sense of smell.
Pretty much, right? Which is Miranda in this case, because of your awareness.
Yeah.
He's mainly going to be looking at the tech, though.
Oh yeah, the tech is
That's-
lovely. Hello there, Miles. My name is Flash. You can call me Flash anyway. I am not looking to promote your radio station, I'm afraid. I think you might have had some weird stuff happen to you lately, and I'm here to explain that to you.
Which point is it?
What was that?
Miranda's. Oh yeah, he's going to give you the talk. You need
Yeah,
the talk,
that's
right?
exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the talk. Hi, Miles. You're a werewolf. I'm a werewolf. Miranda here is a werewolf. We're all werewolves here. And I'm going to teach you about it. Like, how to change, our history. We're all family, actually. You didn't know that, but we are. Like, it's in our blood.
Miranda's just like a step back, and she just goes family in quote. He says family.
Miles just still looks like he hasn't fully woken up and his mind hasn't fully caught up with what's going on yet. But he just steps back in and motions them into the Winnebago and says, just for the record, anything that might look like highly illegal pirate radio equipment isn't.
Course, yeah. Love your stuff, man. Yeah, a weird guy, a weird manager, kind of sales type of guy is your introduction. Isn't it lovely? Bryce is gonna get a very different type of introduction, and I think the Fury in this case, who is gonna find your hiding spot. Isn't it nice to be able to summon spirits and have them chase down your pups for you so you can locate them before they do bad things?
I think Bryce is currently like hanging out like underneath like a bridge, one of the slightly larger bridges, and she's made a little bit of a
Welcome to the club, bridge dweller.
made a little bit of a makeshift shelter underneath a bridge.
That makes sense. The person who's gonna come to you then under the makeshift bridge is gonna look like a Greek mom. She's probably in her late 40s. Must have been a looker in her youth, but metabolism changes and age does
Something
things
the ravages of time.
Exactly. But she has her jet black hair and her dark eyes and her motherly smile, and introduces herself as Selina.
Mm.
I
Right.
believe your name is Bryce, isn't it?
Yeah, why?
Why? Oh,
This group's full of charisma.
yes, absolutely full of charisma.
This is why I got Persuade, because you are like this. People are so weird sometimes, and I have to be the voice of, well, doing the voicing.
Miles is gonna be the voice of doing the voicing, isn't he?
Oh,
Ironically, I do have 3 dots in charisma.
fucking zero.
I just
Riz.
don't trust anyone right now.
That makes sense.
Negative Riz.
Your insight will serve you very well. This lady is very earnest, very honest, very caring. She does look like you, she does look at you as if she was your mom. And Bryce, yes, I understand why you are here. It must be a bit of an ordeal for you now. It's a good thing that the wrong eyes haven't caught up with the evidence in the case with the rabid dogs, but to help you with everything. Bryce, you're a werewolf, and so am I.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me. You know what happened in your heart of hearts. This matron will not... She's not gonna take your nonsense. So you heard me. She's just staring at you with surprisingly stern eyes. You know what happened in your heart of hearts. You saw the injustice done by those policemen. You lost control. You changed shape into the warrior form, and you gave them what they really deserved. Maybe a bit more than they deserved. It's not usually a good idea to kill police officers. It brings the wrong attention. But I can't hold it against you. Under the circumstances, they were bad people. and they needed to be stopped, and you stopped them, which is exactly what your sisters and mothers and grandmothers have been doing for thousands of years.
Hearing that, I think Bryce's demeanor changes from that rebellious teenager she previously looked at her with to a bit more relaxed.
Let me cook you some food, she says, and yes. And she's gonna start cooking some food in whatever shelter you have there.
Yeah, it's just like underneath a bridge with some basic necessities, maybe.
Unlike Gnawers, she can't just take anything and cook it. So she's not going to be able to do that, and she's going to be very grumpy over the lack of supplies around here, and she's going to...
Yeah, it's just like a portable, like one of those little portable one-time use grills you can have.
Yeah, and she's going to be complaining in Greek a lot. I don't know that Bryce understands Greek, but there will be Greek coming out of her mouth every once in a while when she's swearing about not having this ingredient or the others. Not even olives, she says, and complains very loudly.
Not a real Greek.
Yeah, she will say, Bryce, you have heard... Have you gone to school?
Do you even hate the Turks?
A little bit. Why?
Have you heard of Amazons?
Like the... like the big warrior lilies? Like from the comic books?
No, what are comic books?
Oh no, you found a weakness.
It's like books, but they has pictures. It's whatever. But
you can't read?
I can read. I just like to look at the pictures. Anyways.
Yeah, that would be confidence of someone who's illiterate.
Yep. Rolls her eyes really hard.
Oh no, I'm stuck with a dumb one. She picks herself.
Amazons, the warrior women of ancient myth, existed. They were us. We still exist.
I see. I expected them to be taller.
Oh, we are when we fight. You were taller when you fought.
Bryce kind of just nods, just thinking about it. Just like, yeah.
That tracks. Yeah, okay.
To be taller.
I sent you some stuff about the respective tribes and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, your respective mentors will teach you how to change forms to the various forms, Glabro, Hispo, Krinos, Lupus, to run in the night in your wolf forms, to howl at the moon, what it means to be your respective auspice, and the responsibility that comes from that, and so on. So, have you had a chance to look over those texts?
I think I might have skimmed them just a little bit. I was a little bit busy.
That can happen. All right, let me get back on that then. So essentially, you've read them, I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really did cook with that article you wrote, basically.
I had some help. But, yeah, this
Was it
could...
your wife?
What was that?
Was it your wife?
No, it wasn't. But
I just
this
offer.
instillment of the traditions of your respective tribes, you're all going to hear about them, right? Our Get of Fenris, for example, the legacy of being a son of Fenrir, the war god, basically. That's
Yeah.
essentially how the Get considers the Fenris.
Yeah, I did a little bit of Googling on Fenris lore. And what?
All three of you will... all five of you. We're missing a person, but hopefully next week they'll be here. All people in this pack will hear about the stories of the Garou, the basic myths about ancient times, the mythic ages. So apparently there was once upon a time an era. The world itself is created by 3 primary spirits, like godlike spirits, who are primary forces more than gods. And it's the
Yeah, and they
Weaver.
all really love adding W to their name.
Yes, the Weaver, the Wild, and the Wyrm. And the Wyrm was supposed to be the balance between the Wild and the Weaver, because the Wild is chaos and change, and the Weaver is order and stagnation. And the Wyrm is supposed to balance these two. But the Wyrm went a bit mad and started corrupting things and destroying everything instead. That was
there's
bad.
just too much rot, pretty much.
Yes, exactly. And of course, we all live on Earth, which is Gaia, the Great Mother, the mother of all life. And when life spawned initially and humans came into being, the werewolves were set to police humans so they didn't get completely out of control.
Like they are now.
Like they are now, yeah. This era was called the Impergium. And that's why humans, even today, get absolutely scared out of their minds when they see a werewolf. So scared that they forget that they saw them, basically.
Generational trauma times 10.
Yes, that's how werewolves culled humans. But that era ended, and then people lost track on the whole job of keeping track of the Impergium, and there was something called the War of Rage, when werewolves were fighting other were-creatures, like were-cats, and were-rats, and were-ravens, and all the other changing breeds out there.
And also made a lot of them extinct.
Yeah, allegedly. Now, this is where everything branches out depending on tribes, because each tribe here has different backgrounds. Jake will hear the story of the Vikings and the Germanic peoples and how the Get of Fenris helped thwart the Roman hordes in Teutoburger Forest, how the Vikings were led by great Get of Fenris and so on, and how that's your legacy and your tradition. And basically, you're the descendant of proud Viking warriors. That's going to be Jake's story. Bryce's story is, of course, different because Black Furies and Greece and...
Feminism.
Yeah, the Greek mythology and how you were essentially avenging Amazons. And I think you're going to hear a lot of Greek mythology in your stories, as it were. And how a lot of the Greek mythology has been twisted because the men took over telling the story, and that shouldn't have happened. And all the women in Greek myths who have been vilified in the myths are actually heroes, and some of them were definitely Black Furies. Clytemnestra, for example, who killed Agamemnon because he killed their daughter. Medea did not go nuts. She was a Black Fury. And so on and so forth. A whole lot of those stories.
And also maybe some sprinkled in things about how trans women are men.
Or no.
Oh,
That's a joke.
But of course, I think one of the things that you will also hear about Bryce is how during the burning times of the Inquisition, Black Furies were particularly targeted because Black Furies have always supported strong women. And in the Middle Ages, being a strong woman meant being a witch, didn't it?
Mhm.
Church didn't like that much, so...
Yeah.
But that's the legacy of the Black Furies, basically, in very short words. The Glasswalker story is gonna be slightly different, of course.
Sure. We could be Amazons.
Nah.
Yeah.
In your lane, street rat.
You can be Amazon, the corporation.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We can be
That is-
Amazon without any S.
I'm pretty sure that is just the worm.
Real world equivalent.
The thing is,
The old
Glasswalkers, there's gonna be Glasswalkers who run big corporations, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But which big corporations are Glasswalker run and which are Wyrm run, I wouldn't, in the real world, I wouldn't care to guess for, you know. There's enough big...
I'm guessing,
We don't want to
a lot
scare
of
off sponsors, I know.
I'm sure there's some billionaires out there who are Glasswalkers or Glasswalker kin.
Yeah. I'm guessing a lot of them do it to fund their operations.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's the story that Miranda and Miles are gonna get. It's funny that they both start with an M-I in the names. That's great. It's like your siblings, isn't it? Adopted siblings, apparently. But where Jake and Bryce hears everything about the proud traditions and the proud history and how the modern world sucks and is terrible and we're fighting this war against the Wyrm and we're losing and it's sad and it's be desperate and fight back, right? Both for Jake and Bryce, that's basically, I think that's maybe the only thing that Black Furies and Ghetto Fenris actually agree on. It was much better 1500 years ago when we were...
Return with a V.
Yeah, the worms is terrible, and modern times, look at all these cities and the pollution and everything. It was much better in antiquity when we could just rip the worm to shreds and so on and so forth.
Hashtag denies all urban centers.
Yeah, I doubt that Get or Black Furies are terribly pleased with urban centers. But Miles and Miranda will get the opposite there. Yes.
We're doing a great job. We got this.
We got this. Yes, we are fighting the Wyrm. The Wyrm is a lethal danger and the apocalypse is coming. But don't put that on us. We are the ones who evolve. We are the ones who change with the times. We've always been in the cities. We've always protected humans in the cities from the Wyrm, where when the rest of our families, the other tribes, were hiding out in the bushes and staying away from the cities because they didn't like them, we took the fight to the Wyrm in the cities because we're not cowards. And going on pavement doesn't scare us, right? We don't need to feel just dirt under our feet to feel strong. We're thriving cities too. And this...
And some fight words, boy.
Yeah. This is our time to shine. There's never been bigger cities. We're now the most important tribe to take the fight directly to the Wyrm on the front lines. Because the cities are our hunting grounds, and this is where we're going to hit the Wyrm the hardest. I think that's probably going to be the lesson from Flash.
I've noticed a lot of inter-tribe fighting with these narratives.
Not at all. The tribes are always being...
Like, every other tribe are a bunch of pussies and hate
The
us.
tribes are always being
better than-
completely harmonious.
Yeah.
Nothing
And that's
bad
why
ever
we
happened
lost.
to get a Fenris.
Yeah, Arnguth might actually tell Jake, more about the fights between various tribes in New York, because apparently Garou can't get along properly, which is part of the problem here.
Yeah. Well, the other clans just hate us because we're better than them, obviously.
Obviously, yes. Obviously. Yeah, the Ghost Council and Gale Stalkers really don't like any of the more European-based tribes because they see them as invaders for some strange reason.
I wonder why they would think that.
I have no idea.
Cuts to native mass grave.
Exactly.
Number 376.
But yeah, some of at least the tribes can get along. Black Furies and Heart Wardens are okay with each other. Children of Gaia and Black Furies are also okay with each other. Don't know that Ghetto Fenris get along with anyone, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense. Weren't we like the clan that also has a lot of Nazis?
No, they have been. If any Ghetto Fenris has ever turned Nazi, they're quickly expelled from the tribe.
But still, like, we have a problem with people turning into Nazis and then getting expelled.
There were German Ghetto Fenris who fought for the Nazis during the war, and all the other Ghetto Fenris fought them like heck to tear them limb from limb. There is a really funny comic in the first Tribe book edition for Ghetto Fenris about just that kind of a fight. With an American Ghetto Fenris just murdering a Nazi officer Ghetto Fenris.
Based as fuck, but also literally though, when like in my thing on my background,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you said,
I know.
Yep.
You
So
have
they're
that
probably
situation.
look like you enough where it's a little bit concerning.
A little bit concerning. What might our various pups ask their mentors at this early stage before you get sent to the Rite of Passage to become adults? Let's start with Bryce this time because we started with Miranda. What kind of questions might she have?
Ken, actually, you said you're hiding under a bridge. Is this the same bridge and there's just a Winnebago down the street that you haven't given a second thought to?
Probably not, no.
I think she'd be curious about the relationship with humans, considering she is a werewolf, how she would manage that.
I think the answer would be to guide the humans carefully. Humans are our partners very often. After all, that's how new werewolves are born. Most of our parents are two regular humans. Finding a partnership with humans is very normal for us. We are careful about which humans to trust with our whole truth. There are the kinfolk, of course, those who are related to us by blood. They carry the gene, but they did not turn. With them, we can speak more freely. Others, we've always been one to guide humans. And for us, of course, we've always been ones to particularly guide strong women who fight for the rights of any oppressed minority. Black Furies walked with the suffragettes. Black Furies have set up women's shelters. We've been in every social movement. And we shall continue being that. For several reasons. The one way is because the struggle against the Wyrm is not just the struggle of the werewolves. It's the struggle of all good forces of Gaia. And humans are part of Gaia. When an environmental group can shut down a polluting factory, it doesn't really matter if werewolves were there personally or not. It's a victory for Gaia. It's also a good way to collect information. There's not a whole lot of us left. Humans are just so many. They have eyes and ears to the ground, and sometimes they will in fact pick up on Wyrm activities that we didn't pick up on. But of course we don't want them to get in the way of the horrible monstrosities that the Wyrm can summon from the spirit world. Fomori, which are humans that have been mutated by the Wyrm, horrible demonic beings from the spirit world, possession, those kinds of things. Sometimes the claw must strike. And if it's a human who is possessed, it would be better to exorcise the spirit and destroy the spirit and thus save the human. But sometimes that's not possible.
I see. Thank you. I still have people I'm close to.
Stay close to them. They will feel your passion. You can inspire them. But don't send them into harm's way.
Yes,
if you
I
don't
think
have to.
they believe in a similar path, even if they're not part of all of this spiritual stuff.
What might Jake ask Arnguth Storm?
So how best do we take the fight to the Wyrm? How do we usually do it?
We jump into the throat of the monsters and we tear it out from the inside out. With our claws and teeth. He's a very direct man. We need every Garou who can sense the Wyrm, track it down, and then we plan. We think ahead, and then we strike. You're gonna get a military spiel from Arnguth Stormbrite.
Yes, drill sergeant.
Yes, exactly. He is an Arun, much like you, Jake. Maybe he sees some of himself from his youth in Jake. Who knows? And he is gonna be... It's not gonna be any of that social movement stuff. It's gonna be, okay, we need to track them down. We need to find traces of the Wyrm. Then we organize a hit squad, and we go in there and destroy it. We shred it to pieces. That's what we do.
Basically,
no quarter.
Basically more of a special forces kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Search and destroy.
Yes, search and destroy. Now, rules of engagement matter. We don't hurt the weak. We don't hurt humans. He's actually going to, in a sense, agree with Selina about it's better to exercise a bane from a human to heal them or to get the Wyrm out of them and then kill the Wyrmling than to just kill the human. Because
The
it might not...
Fenris have their own Geneva Convention as well.
Yeah, exactly. We fight with glory and with honor, right?
Yeah.
Arnguth,
And we obviously needed to plan our assaults.
Yeah, but he's expressing it in very old-fashioned ways, and he's leaning hard into honor, glory, and wisdom. Running into an ambush is stupid. Don't do that.
Being the one planning the ambush is good, however.
Yes. Do that. It's all going to be very militaristic in his take on it. But there's no doubt that we're at war. And this is a war against an absolutely merciless enemy who can look like anyone and act, literally hide in things as well. It's going to be a bit of also the Matrix spiel in that sense, right? If they're not with us, they're a potential tool for our enemy, so be careful.
Yeah, always be vigilant and all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What might be Miranda's and Miles's questions to Flash, your friendly neighborhood glasswalker, Philodox?
Basically, he just fed into my paranoia. My guy has already been living for 2 years.
Yep. Miles and Miranda, what kind of questions might you have? I have a feeling Miranda has a whole lot of questions about cosmology.
Yeah, but basically she's gonna start with the one that's probably gonna throw him the most. It's like, why aren't we helping the Weaver?
Because the Weaver is our friend?
No, like, why isn't everyone?
Oh, yeah, it's because they're idiots.
Like, but
look,
I understand having plants and things around are great and people need them, and it's great for everyone. But also, there's too many people to just forage for shit. We need the cities.
you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of less understanding among our kin. Basically, some of our kin. There's lots of... Okay.
Not naming names, get a Fenris.
No, I think he's thinking more about the Red Talons, to be honest.
But we're close behind.
Yeah, you are. So, 13 tribes of us, right? Only us and the Gnawers understand the cities properly. The others think that the Weaver is almost as bad as the Wyrm. And I think it's an old habit of theirs. I don't get it, to be honest.
Wait, so they're like the geriatrics that just refuse to use new technology?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Except there are young people in their group?
Yes, but that's how they're taught, right? They're all listening to their elders, and their elders are saying the same shit all the time, and they're like, oh, everything was so much better for humanity in the Bronze Age, and we're like, No, because
No.
humans died when they were 35 from a cold.
They died when they
I
were
tried to
35,
think
but
of
they
one
also
from my
died
show. I guess I'm gonna die
at
now.
any point from
Yeah.
any injury.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
And
just
then
shit weather.
exactly, and then you'll hear a get going. Yeah, but that's because they're weak or something. It's
Skill issue.
What, we've got to teach them how to...
no point. No point.
What do you mean, no point? No one's unteachable.
You can try. And the thing is, sure, Glasswalkers, and Bone Gnawers, we dominate New York City proper, Manhattan and the city. If you go upstate, you'll meet all the other tribes much more frequently. But there are some of all tribes on our streets here too. Very few, because they don't like to go in here. Thing is, once you get connected with a pack, likely is there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 in there who are not of your tribe. And they will be your adopted family. So you're going to have to find a way to get along, I guess.
Sure, but I've got,
like living with
school.
a brother who turned out to be a Republican while you're a Democrat.
Well, it sounds like more like you went into Tech Valley Startup and they turned Amish.
Yeah, a little bit like that. A little bit like that. But we can't always choose our families, can we?
I mean, it seems like you're choosing up.
Oh, you are... There are very few of the Garou left, okay? If we go
Wait,
back
what do you mean?
far enough in time, most packs were of a single tribe, okay? So if you go back to, I don't know, Middle Ages or earlier, I'm not a big history guy, I don't know, but earlier than that, most packs were single tribes. Like in ancient Athens or Rome, you'd find glasswalkers in Rome, and they would only be like glasswalker packs. And then you wouldn't find a single get of Fenris there because they were all up north and doing Viking stuff, I guess.
But now there's not enough of us to get picky, so you just kind of have to kit bash.
But now there's not enough of us to get picky, so now you're gonna have to kit bash. When we have a bunch of pups,
What does that mean? Like, why is there so few of us?
the Wyrm
mean,
has
what-
been winning. That's why.
But it's just, it has people, I guess, and spirits. I know there have been a few nasty spirits, but they're not exactly everywhere.
No, but if they're in powerful enough positions, and if they kill enough werewolves, if they kill enough of us
Wait,
Garou...
what do you mean positions? Spirits are spirits.
Oh yeah, but they have help from humans who serve the Wyrm too.
What? But they can't... They don't see each other.
It depends on how the spirits have influenced them. So spirits can possess people. And spirits can also reach out to people and change them. Make them... We call them Fomori. It's basically a mutant. And they have special powers, not like other humans. They will also have... You know, sometimes you can
Okay,
see...
so there's no other threat. It's just the evil spirits and the people they've corrupted, and everyone else is just humans, right?
That's a bit of a simplification, but...
What do you mean? Aside, there's werewolves. There's
Yeah,
spirits. There's
there's-
evil spirits, and then there's people the evil spirits corrupt. There's no other types of people, right?
there's the Lost Tribe.
Of werewolves.
Yeah,
They would fall in the werewolf category, wouldn't they?
they do. But they have joined the Wyrm completely.
Okay. I was just worried.
And
There's not, like,
there are
yetis or
vampires out there
anything,
too. And I think there are
What?
ghosts and fairies and it's a big world.
He's going to use her non-existent insight to see whether pulling her leg. Just
Look,
she's
they're
going
already
to
a
try
werewolf,
to read
they
his
can't
face
pick
and
up
just
her
get
and
nothing.
down.
Exactly. While Miles can read a face and get something.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the city's full of vampires, didn't you know?
No. In Queens?
As far as I know, they're everywhere. I don't know how many they are. You don't meet them
And
very
whose side
often.
are they on?
Depends on who you ask, but assume Wyrm side, yeah.
Not good. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're really drafting us into a very dangerous conflict.
You're in the conflict whether you like it or not. You're a target now because you can change. Might as well find
Okay.
some people to fight with, right?
Okay, strength in numbers, I get that.
Yeah.
And she's gonna leave the floor to Miles if he's got any questions.
New York is my Vietnam.
Yeah, Miles, any questions?
Firstly, Miles is actually reasonably happy about the werewolf explanation, because previous to that, because it had only happened once, he was thinking maybe you just got dosed with PCP or something. I guess since he only got the one change, he will be the most eager to learn about the mechanics about the changing and the different forms and stuff. But I imagine because I imagine there being this kind of montage of us all hanging out in the Winnebago, and it sort of cuts between stuff like we're sat around passing a bottle round, and because Miranda's an architect, I guess talking about Art Deco and Bauhaus, and then because it's got this whole electronics lab which is like cracked to glasswalkers, I guess then it cuts to us like soldering some stuff together, and like we're practicing the changes and stuff. And Miles is like to Miranda, here, hold these two wires while you change, and then looking at a screen and seeing what it does when she changes. And it's all just changing on a weighing scale, and just like, oh hell, we just broke the laws of physics. And then you see like the Winnebago from outside as we all turn into, what's the biggest war form we do?
Krynos, yeah. Krynos.
Yeah, like we all turn into
fair.
Krynos simultaneously, and you just see the Winnebago drop down on its suspension.
Just with all the transformations, the Winnebago looks like it's shaking, like something's going on in there.
Guys,
Yeah,
I
you
have
get
to ask.
freaks in there.
You're also going to learn about your roles as, like, auspices, right? And Miles's role as a Gaillard is to be the steward of folklore and stories for the Garou, right?
Oh yeah, Miles is. Wait a minute. We're in New York. I'm the storyteller. I'm already a radio host. Am I essentially like the radio announcer from the film The Warriors, who goads the gang while they're fleeing back to Coney Island?
Yep, that's you. But it's important. We have an oral record for all sorts of reasons. Tradition is one, but also because it's harder to trace for Wyrm. And your task is to keep that and inspire the rest of your own pack with the stories. And of course, when you meet the other packs, you're gonna be the one who's asked to tell the stories of your own pack. Write songs, write poems, do the radio host introduction. That's gonna be your job.
Guys, I have to ask, what the hell is a Winnebago?
I don't know what one is either. I'm gonna be honest. Which honestly,
It's like a massive camper van. It's like the really American style camper van.
Did you guys see Spaceballs?
No.
Okay, I'm an old man.
I have seen Spaceballs, yes.
Yeah, it's a Winnebago.
But the Winnebagos are the sort of beige coloured ones. They're not the shiny silver ones. They're called Airstreams.
Yeah, it's like a rolling house, basically.
okay,
A
I
rolling
think I
house.
know what you're talking about. It's just I've heard a different term for it, I think.
It's an RV, so yeah.
Yeah, RV. Okay, I've heard
Yeah.
RV as a term. I've
The
never heard
RV
Winnebago.
is
Winnebago
the
is
type
just-
of vehicle. Winnebago is a
Yeah,
brand.
Yeah, it's one of the manufacturers.
Okay,
Yeah.
then that makes sense. Yeah, I know what RV is, just not a Winnebago as a brand.
What is Bryce's reaction to her role as a Philodox? Because she is gonna be the one who is the judge and the mediator, and yeah.
Judge, jury, and executioner. No.
No,
Um,
that's the Arun.
Oh my god, it's the meth making mobile.
Yes, I think she understands to some degree as the has been like pushing her little activist group around for a while, but at the
Mhm.
same time,
That's
she's
what
just
you're-
I'm the judge for a. I'm the judge for a. She says in air quotes, a pack.
Yes, when you find your own pack, you will be the judge.
Hooray, my opinion matters more than other people.
You will be the mediator, the arbiter.
That is.
You are going to be the one who interprets our laws for your pack.
Uh-huh.
The leader of the pack, the pack will have to decide, but that is your role.
A mediator of sorts?
When the pack starts fighting each other, it's good to have someone out there to cool their heads, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Sheesh. Hope I'll find someone who's on the easier side to mediate.
Hopefully.
I have experienced wrangling teenagers to do things. She sighs.
Is Jake fired up about being a soldier? The Arun,
Oh yeah, that's
the
perfect.
warrior? He's gonna
Yeah,
be like,
Jake's like, fuck yeah.
I'm gonna be like Thor. I'm gonna just beat them in the face.
Hell yeah.
And Miranda's role as the Theurge, the one who communicates with the spirits more than anyone else. The one that is mystic.
Yeah, she's fine with that. It's just she worries that the fact that people aren't all trying to do that worries her. The spirits are just so helpful.
They are. The others will just have to take your advice for it.
Can the rest of us see spirits at all, or is that just...
No, you can.
Random.
It's just harder for you. You might not have the right gifts and all that sort of thing, and
Just not gonna casually see them.
let me see here. Entering. No, I was looking into the Umbra. Basically, everybody is supposed to be able to look into the Umbra, but you're either seeing the physical world or the Umbra. You can't see both at once, but the Urge can see both at once with the right gift.
It's if you have the power umbral sight, you can see both at once.
But you can see both at once without penalty regardless. With penalty, but the
so
Umbral
it's
side
easier.
means you
Yeah,
don't
that's-
take a
that's what I mean.
penalty.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. So you can see into the Umbra regardless. And in earlier editions, you looked at something very shiny. The very chrome hubcap of a car that you can see your own reflection in, or a very shiny lamppost if there is one, or something that is reflective, a strongly reflective surface. And then you need to get the glare in your face, the lens flare as it were, in your eyes, and then you can see into the Umbra or even step sideways. In this edition, you actually have to conduct a rite to step sideways into the spirit world.
Oh, yeah, while we're
Well,
getting the
now I know what
information-
I need to grab.
You know, I am so glad that I got basically the most combative of the clans in terms of relationship to other clans. It means I'm gonna have so much fun getting in arguments with the rest of you.
Tribes, not clans. Clans are
Sorry,
the vampire thing, you wormling. Anyway.
Sorry.
While we're getting that explanation about all the spirit world and that Miranda can talk to machine spirits, Miles will definitely hold out some piece of electronic equipment with switches and dials on it and say, "This has never worked properly. Ask what's wrong with it."
And Miranda could fix it, yes.
Yeah, she could reach out to her partner,
Yeah.
give her a little tech boost.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things it could do.
Yep.
Turn it on and off again.
So
and
with a
work.
power 5 spirit, so that means basically it has 5 dice in the basic dice pool, and then it has some skills that it has a little bit more in. And this being a Weaver spirit, tech would be one such thing. Yeah. It could definitely fix things for you.
So you said it had technomantic assistance.
Yep.
So it can enhance my ability to interact with technological systems.
Yep.
Granting a bonus to crafting, repairing, and hacking. Do I know what that bonus is, just for reference, or is
I'll
it
give
variable?
you a +2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will keep that in mind.
Yep. This is probably the perfect place to take a little bit of a break before everybody meets each other. How about that?
Yippee!
Yay! So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Woo! And we're back! And of course, when we're back, we mean to say that we're back, and also means that you should sacrifice to the algorithm gods! Follow
And
the channel,
unfortunately, we're not in black now.
subscribe, like the video, and everything. There we go. Myth Machine, yes, we love you.
Comment for the algorithm.
The algorithm is a spirit, a weaver spirit, and glasswalkers are the masters of it. Definitely.
Yeah. Comment and the Weaver Spirit will be very happy.
Look, the catchphrase of a Glasswalker Ragabash is "Do it for the vine, bro."
And in the mage world, of course, it's the virtual adepts who just control the algorithm completely. But we're not playing mages now. Will we ever get a mage 5th edition? Because I don't know how they're going to make a mage 5th edition with the basic rule system they have for werewolf and vampire right now. Like,
I'm
feel
still a
like,
homebrew for it. Because I'm gonna use a homebrew in my game for it, but there's no official one yet.
no, I know, but will there even be one? Because you have hunger dice makes sense. The rage dice will make sense too when we get there. But I can't. What are they gonna do for the mages? Is that gonna be like
In
Paradox?
In the homebrew, they use something called quiet
his own
dice.
homebrew version of it that was basically hunger dice, but for paradox.
all right?
Yeah, it's called quiet dice.
Quiet dice.
By the
Okay.
way, Mikhail,
Yeah.
what's the company that makes World of Darkness?
And now it's Renegade.
Paradox Interactive.
Oh, Paradox. Yeah, Paradox
I
owns it, and
wanted
Renegade
it
publishes.
as base as a Mage V5.
Because that's We'll see how
Anyone
that's gonna go.
in our nose.
But we hope there will be stuff like that. And are they gonna ever do Wraith and Changeling as well? Who knows?
No, they hate us too much to do that.
No.
They're just gonna be like, eat shit and die, asshole.
Anyway, these young pups here, sometime in December of 1990, which is strangely at the same time as a group of fledgling vampires are gearing up to go to Prince Modius's New Year's party. These pups are gonna be brought by their respective tribes to a warehouse close to Central Park.
A warehouse, you
A
say?
warehouse, yes. You're going to be informed by your respective mentors of various things. For example, that the Sept of the Green, which is the Sept that will accept you as a new pack and conduct the Rite of Passage that will create you adult werewolves, is run by the Bone Gnawers. And I don't know how much anti-bone gnawer racism we will have among you already.
Ooh.
But maybe some, I don't know. What would be the perspective on bone gnawers from each of your various tribes? Because obviously you will have been told about the bone gnawers and the relations, etc., between them. Let's see now. Here we go. The typical perspective on bone gnawers from the Glasswalker point of view. Bone gnawers are deeply family-oriented, but they seem to genuinely want to help those who are down and out. When you spend that much time with the hurting, you either develop empathy or become a serial murderer. I spend a lot of time in prisons these days visiting family, and I met one of their kinfolk who told me to contact his brother. His brother, in turn, desperately wanted me to help the guys in prison to start getting real jobs once they get out, and I like that. Some other Glasswalkers would say, in my experience, they're nothing but a bunch of hypocrites who will disown their kin for getting out of a bad neighborhood, but won't lift a finger to help out the neighbors who fall through the cracks. Bunch of bastards, useful only because they'll sell information cheap. So that's some Glasswalker perspectives on bone gnawers there.
And then with like, I'm guessing Get Fenris, it's basically 19th century rich.
They're all nice, yeah. The Black Fury perspective on bone gnawers. They dwell in the city and work with Glasswalkers, Ratkin, and Weaver spirits. I don't trust them. and their horn dogs, Gaia's breaths, it's like they've never smelled a clean woman before. What part of Garou shall not mate with Garou don't these pigs understand anyway? Avoid them if
Oh,
you
God.
can. Don't let their
Oh.
foul behavior and mannerisms fool you. These bumpkins and slum dwellers have contacts all over the city. I avoid them when possible, but when I'm left with no other choice and need information in the city, I go to them. Of course, that information does not come cheaply. Let's see now. Yeah, that's the Black Fury perspective in earlier editions of this game anyway. And the Get of Fenris perspective on Gnawers is going to be colorful, I'm sure.
Yes, very colorful.
Miles is subtly disappointed that the mole people aren't actually Wyrm moles.
Some typical ideas here from the Get of Fenris, not necessarily Arnguth, Stormbrite. What a stupid bunch of filthy mongrels. How can they call themselves Garou? They don't even care about fighting the Wyrm, or even in crushing the vampires that infest the cities. We should tear them to pieces. Fair punishment for squandering their heritage and their gifts. More moderate view. In theory, the Gnawers are in a position to be a great asset to the Garou Nation in its war against the Wyrm. They live among the refuse of humanity and thus are among the first to learn of the Wyrm's infectious presence therein. If they were diligent in their duties, they would surely make the greatest scouts we could possibly hope to have in the cities. Sadly, however, they're very far from diligent. Most are unmotivated and interested only in their own comfort and survival, and those few who take it upon themselves to act do so only to comfort the humans who live in the same sorry state. This is unfortunate, but you shouldn't dismiss them entirely. I know of at least one Gnower who has proven to be a capable battle master in our war against the Wyrm in South America, and this alone shows that we cannot be too hasty in our judgments. See? They can be...
Got it. But overall, mostly not friendly positions on them. Seems like it.
I like that the Black Fury's perspective is just like, you stinky. And that's
Yeah, and basically the Get a Fenris position is the only reason we haven't actively hunted them down is because some of them are sometimes useful.
Exactly. Some of them are sometimes useful.
Enough to not go out of our way to hunt them, pretty much.
The Get
our
are
tribes don't have
completely
the best
well adjusted.
perspective.
Absolutely well adjusted. The Get are.
Yeah.
The Get, a very emotionally stable clan.
Yes.
I think we just need to set up a Teams meeting and we can hash out all differences.
Exactly. Be that as it may, you are, as I said, going to be presented to the warehouse, where, the group who are hanging out around, it looks like a homeless people camp. There are trash can fires. There are probably some of them who are really into their cups already. They're making moonshine here. There are, not one of them here have washed for ages. And they're down and out on their luck, clearly. A little bit, at least. I don't know how you would react to that sight the first time you see them.
Jake, I'm gonna say, due to his background of also being homeless for 2 years, is definitely on the way more moderate than your average Get.
Probably, yeah. That makes
a lot
sense.
more sympathy for them.
And you are going to meet some people here in the Sept of the Green. Specifically, you're gonna meet Timmy. Yeah, Timmy.
Sorry,
He
that was
is
involuntary.
in his mid-20s, very dirty like the other Bone Gnawers, but about as big as a barn door. His shoulders just never end. And he has the fingerless mittens and a pair of very sturdy combat boots that he has duct taped all over so they don't fall to pieces. And probably a bomber jacket that he has stitched together from 2 other bomber jackets that were torn to pieces. And he's gonna be there to receive you one by one as you're coming in. Who comes here first? I don't know. Let's roll a D3. Because we come from 3 different tribes, don't we? First of all comes... apparently the Glasswalkers.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. And you are not dirty and stinky.
No. In any way, a person who's just come from a full day of school isn't dirty and stinky.
Yes, exactly. Your school is pretty much ending for the term anyway.
Yeah. It's over.
Yeah.
We're free.
Woohoo!
Freedom!
Yeah, he's looking you over. All right, you're the pups, right? Welcome to the Septic Arena.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. You're what tribe? I don't know. I heard all sorts of different stuff. I'm Timmy. I'm keeping order around here. A local Arun, you could say.
Good to meet you. I'm Miranda. Apparently I'm a glass walker?
At least you know your way around the city then.
Definitely. So do you, I can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, we sure do. Yeah. But you're seeing the city from up there, and we're seeing it from down here.
I'm seeing it from Queens. It's not very far up.
You know what I mean. Snarl, growl.
She's trying not to. She's trying to be, like, charismatic, and that's not something she's just good at.
Apparently not, no.
Oh, and this is, and she points over to Miles, because we'd be arriving together.
Yep.
Yeah, Miles will shake hands, be civil, be polite, but also be really glad that they left the Winnebago a couple of blocks away.
Rule, but yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be another fellow coming up to you guys. He is thin, gangly, a bit of olive skin, maybe Italian American. He has really large eyes that are, well, vision, just, they go crosswise. Also mid-20s, but has very badly cut, shaggy black hair and a beard. Might be missing a tooth. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? You're welcome here. Hope Timmy doesn't scare you. He's a big fella. He keeps order around here. I'm Hundo Chunder. I help Mother Larissa. She's the big boss around here, the big tamale. She takes care of all of us, and by the time you meet her, it's gonna be the big time. The big time, yeah. Exciting, isn't it? Exciting, I think. New members of the nation. I know you're not part of our tribe, but we dig it. Yeah.
We dig it.
Cool. Yeah. You're all going to be waiting here in the warehouse. You're going to be here for a while, so make yourselves comfortable. This is the time. I don't know if your other elders told you. This is the time for you guys to meditate and get in the right state to commune with Gaia and prepare yourselves properly for what's going to happen. The big rite, the big time. It's not every day we get a bunch of pups here who are going to become members, grow up and get through the rite and join the nation properly. It's exciting, I'm telling you, but it's going to take a while, right? Yeah?
That seems good. We'll just wait here. Then she looks around to try and find a clean spot where she can lean.
Is there
anything I can help you with? I'm not supposed to help you during this week, you get it? It's a whole thing. It's part of the rite, right? But just don't holler. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. The thing is, I love to help you guys out. I'm sure we're gonna talk lots once you're through the rite and out through the other side. And yeah, when you have your glyphs, like proper adults, yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
We've got to have tattoos.
Sure, man. It's gonna be everything. Yeah, you're gonna be properly marked up members of the nation. Yeah.
Okay, no one mentioned tattoos before, but okay, yeah. Yeah, sure.
When I heard initiation, I was thinking something like drive two cars at each other and see who swerves first.
You're not too far off the mark. I remember mine. But, not supposed to tell the pups about that. I'll tell you about that when you're through. And yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, okay. All right. See you later, guys. Who is the next to arrive then? It's gonna be. Look at that. It's gonna be Jake. Oh my
All right.
god.
I'm gonna say that Jake, after his training, enters in very stone-faced, straight-laced, just very almost like a soldier.
And
So, have they cleaned you up at this point, or do you still look homeless?
I think the Get cleaned him up. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, definitely.
It's a
lot
matter
more
of pride, if
clean.
nothing else.
Yeah.
You're representing, right?
Oh, just one thing I was wondering. I know in older editions of this, you had to learn a special gift to be able to transform without ripping your clothes to pieces. Do we all just get that as standard in this edition?
You know what? I'll need to check that, double check that, because right now I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was the Rite of Dedication. Binds a set of garment to a werewolf, allowing the Garou to change form without the dedicated clothes ripping apart. So there you go. Yeah, it's still there.
Oh, so we're definitely going to lose our clothing. Great.
Unless Flash already taught us how to do that.
Let's see now.
So basically, a werewolf is not the kind of thing you want to be if you wear nice clothes.
Exactly.
No, my punk jacket.
I
My
don't
brick!
think you have learned these rights yet, so there's that.
Alright.
Possibly that I would think that our friend the Theurg would have learned the Rite of Shadow Passage, so you can actually go into the Umbra.
That would be nice,
That
but
would be nice.
like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you said that was of a higher tier than was available.
No, these are rights, not gifts.
Oh.
It's a different type of power.
Oh, fair enough.
Maybe I should allow you to learn the Rite of Dedication as well, because it's nice. And it makes sense.
It
Yeah.
makes sense.
My mentor being level 5, he'd probably teach me something.
And even if we didn't know how to do it, it would make sense that our mentors would just offer to do it to at least one set of clothes for us, so we could have
Yep.
something to wear that wouldn't end up shredded.
Yeah.
I guess
And
you can pack extra clothes. You can have a backpack with whatever you want to bring, basically. Nobody told you that you couldn't bring stuff. If you want changes of clothes and some kind of equipment with you, probably not guns, but who's to know? Unless they ask, right? So
Or we're just like wearing the baggiest leisure suits imaginable that will just still fit even in our largest forms.
I think at least Arnguth will have given Jake the advice to bring warm clothes, because you never know where you're going to end up in a Rite of Passage. You might have to spend a week outdoors somewhere, so it's bone Gnawers, so it's also possible that you're going to spend a week in the sewers. You don't know.
Glad she hasn't been warned about that.
Alright, anyway, we might want to...
Yeah, so Jake is going to react how to Timmy, who is about bigger size than you are, actually, because, yeah.
With, I just say, my name's Jake Robert Felt. I'm a Get a Fenris Arun.
You're gonna be a Get a Fenris Arun. Soon,
Sorry.
says Timmy. Now, you're a pup. In there, together with the other pups.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and Jake is... Tell me that Jake has a duffel bag, marine style.
Absolutely, yep.
This is the first time that our friends Miranda and Miles, aside from having met Timmy and Hundo very shortly, meet someone who is not of their own tribe. And what might be the first impression here?
She's just, hey, you one of us?
No, ma'am. I'm, from Clan Get a Fenris. Oh, sorry, Tribe Get a Fenris.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. No, ma'am. Don't call me ma'am. That aged me considerably. Sure. Yes, of Fenris.
I put.
That's a dog, right? That's the old ancient dog, right? From the mythology?
Yes, miss.
Great.
For Miles and Miranda, I put on your background Discord channels some perspectives on the various tribes that you might have learned from the other Glasswalkers. So, you can go there for reference. Anyway, yeah, Jake is very gracious to not take your head right off for calling Fenris a dog.
The wolf. The ancient wolf.
Yes, it is a wolf, not a dog.
Yeah, because this thing, like, as far as Miranda's aware, she doesn't. Like, sure, she's going to be like the spiritual advisor, but that doesn't mean she knows things just out of the gate that anger
fair.
people.
That's fair, absolutely. Is Miles being talkative at all, or just sitting around being just looking at Jake?
Yeah, Miles will introduce himself, shake hands, and say, "Do you think we do this initiation as a team, or we're on our own?"
All right. So, Mikkel, what would my mentor say anything about this?
No, you're gonna form a pack. This is your pack now.
Okay, then. In that case, then I say, here's what I say: we're packed now. We're doing this as a group.
Either. Somebody fails, we don't have to eat them, do we?
Like, I'm not eating people. That's not happening.
You don't have to worry about that. That's against the litany.
Jake will know also, because you have been taught by Arnguth, not all pups survive the Rite of Passage.
Yeah.
You're expecting to survive because you're Get, but maybe you need to take care of these guys.
Yeah. The more I talk to them, I realize, oh shit.
I'm gonna have to look after these guys, clearly, yeah.
Fuck. I'm gonna have to carry these two.
Bryce entering the scene pretty much on the same day, really, but a little bit later. Again, being shown in by Timmy. Fashionably late, yeah. Shown in by Timmy, and... I mean, it's chilly in here. It's not as cold as outside. Outside it is definitely below freezing, and here it's definitely above freezing. But it's not comfortable, unless you're a bone gnawer.
Yeah. And I imagine with Jake's free survival, this ain't his first run with the cold.
No. It's not.
Yeah, I guess you would have put on a winter jacket by now.
Yep, that makes sense.
I'm very sad about her punk jacket being destroyed.
There's a new
during
one, though.
The change. She will get the new one, yes. Slowly working on putting on new patches. But yeah, she arrives.
Indeed.
Kinda just taking a look around the place.
And she's the only one who actually looks like a punk of all of you. Miles looks like a hippie. Miranda looks like, I don't know what, high school kid? Average?
Yeah, she looks pretty average.
A bit nerdy, maybe? I don't know.
Not particularly. It's just she doesn't stand out as much. She's wearing like not the lumberjack. What's that pattern called?
Plaid.
Plaid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's wearing just like black clothes with the plaid red long sleeve like overshirt.
And Jake definitely looks like the jock in the group.
Yeah.
Though he's not as big as Timmy, because he is more graceful than strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bryce will look at Timmy. This is the guy who had the stitched together jacket, right?
Yep.
Just takes a look at him. You know,
Yeah, which
safety
one?
pins are pretty good if you need a quick fix.
He just looks like he doesn't quite understand. What do you mean?
If you don't have any trade on the jacket.
I don't need no jacket. This jacket's fine. What's wrong with my jacket?
No, it's good. It looks good.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Grunts. Timmy is not one for lots of talking.
Yeah, Miranda's been pulling out her little drawing notepad and just been sketching up the warehouse.
Yep.
Just to see if she can figure out if this building's stable. And figure out what she's walked into.
Figure out whether this building is stable by having a chat with your friend from the other side, right?
Yeah, because they're just with me, as far as I'm aware. Because I've got all three of the things. Where was it? Oh.
Yeah, you have on
What is
the
your
diamond
weaver spirit
thing.
in?
So you have companion and host, right?
Yeah, I've got companion and host.
So what is the host body for this thing? Is it an animal or is it?
I'm imagining it's actually just the host says it can be a bunch of things, so
Yeah.
it could just be screens
Yeah.
that are in my vicinity. But in this case, it's one of the original Nokias,
Oh,
the ones that the ones that, because they were around that time, so they barely had any processing power. They called and they had a screen, but that was about it.
oh yes, yes. Let's see now.
So you could
This is-
see
this is-
numbers. You didn't need to memorize.
Yeah,
everything.
we're talking like it's base. So you're gonna have. Oh yeah, this is the era where they're called the brick phones, right? They're because that's the
Yeah,
size
the
of
Nokia
phone.
bricks. Yeah.
And in the little display there, you will see text coming up, which is actually your little friend Optinode talking to you.
Oh my god, that's fucking adorable. I love that.
Technically, I can just look
Today-
and speak to them into the air because
Yeah, you can even
they
you
are
can-
around me.
You can just dial. You can press the right buttons on your phone and speak to Optinode directly, because that's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, I've just I put the phone up to my ear and just start talking,
Yep.
even though the creature that I'm talking to isn't like. It isn't speaking through the phone, it's just speaking next to me. It's just I've noticed it's a lot easier for people if I'm not just speaking in a normal volume into the air,
Yep.
half a conversation. So it looks much more sane if I have a phone to my head.
What voice are we gonna give Optinode? Is it gonna be Jarvis or is it gonna be something else?
I don't think it's going to be Jarvis. I think it's more like a... Well, because Jarvis is inherently... It's designed to be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, this thing isn't designed to be... This creature isn't designed to be helpful. This creature is just being helpful because it chooses to.
Yep.
So it's very much its own thing.
Honest, you won't get this voice at all, but honestly, I think like the Insecticons from Transformers, where it's almost animalistic. What with the describing them being like weaver, which are like spiders and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a spider. I'm thinking...
Oh, it's gonna sound like Max Headroom, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
It's a
not gonna
synthesized
sound-
voice, though. It's
I know
definitely
Max
a-
Headroom. No.
It's.
I was thinking the other option for a techno spirit is the supercomputer from the war game.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a bunch of different. So it's gonna be a synthesized voice.
Yeah, it could be like the.
Okay, now I'm imagining like Bonzi Buddy. Bonzi Buddy's voice.
Nope.
No.
I
Alright,
do,
it's like a
unfortunately.
robot voice.
Oh. Oh.
Now I'm thinking it's either Bonzi Buddy or it's Hatsune Miku. No other choice.
I just had a brainstorm for Optinode, but I need to remember. You're probably too young to remember the show, but when I was a kid, there was a show about.
You could make. What about Crichton
Wait a minute.
from Red
Is
Dwarf?
Hatsune Miku a weaver spirit?
Yeah, Crichton, maybe. Yeah, I can do Crichton. I can try to do Crichton.
You don't need to get the voice close or
Perfect.
anything.
But
It's
gonna
just the
synthesize-
style.
Yeah, okay, the style. And it's going to be a bit synthesized, so it's going to be something like, "Hello, I'm Optinode. I need to have a voice modulator because I can't do a synthesized voice
You,
myself.
you don't need to go that far. That's
Um,
fine.
Go that far.
What
Limit
was
to the
other
pit.
one? What was the other one you were thinking it could sound like before you were cut off?
There was a show in the 80s that was called, I don't remember what it was called, but it was about a computer engineer, because this was in the 80s when Hollywood executives and TV executives thought that computers were basically magic. So this computer engineer managed to make his cursor jump out of the screen into three-dimensional space, like physical space, and then the cursor would draw a human and any tools and equipment they needed. And this human would help the computer engineer solve crimes. And he had a very photogenic face, and his body was black with a bunch of stars on them. And I don't remember the name of the show, but it was awesome and very 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Optinode. Are we talking to Optinode now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna reach out and just be like,
Yes. What can I do for you?
what have I gotten myself into? What is all this?
Oh, you are simply growing up, I believe it is called, for humans. Coming
Okay, and
of age.
Werewolf bar mitzvah.
okay, can you tell me what's about to happen?
No, I
Why not?
do not know. I know some. I am an expert at optimizing infrastructural systems and help you interface with various forms of technology around you. This is not in my purview. This is simply for your own kid.
Could you? There's got to be other spirits around. Maybe they know. Can you reach out to one of them on my behalf?
I could try, but I cannot guarantee results. They might be reluctant to speak to me.
That's fair. That's fair. Most people are reluctant to speak to me as well. I get it.
I know this much. In the center of what you call Central Park, there is a cairn. This cairn is called the Sept of the Green by your people, I believe. And it is hosted by your hosts, those who will lead you through what will come.
Okay, Sept of the Green, center of the park.
Yes. They speak to spirits there. Some are powerful and some are less. I haven't ventured near the place since I met you, Miranda Unit. Is he calling you Miranda Unit? Are they calling you Miranda Unit?
That's up to it.
Okay.
That sounds kind of cool. I dig it.
You can't just say unit.
Yeah,
Saves
but you would
time.
have to separate from the other units of the pack.
I love that. Oh.
Miranda Unit.
Yeah. Okay, so Sept of the Green, center of the park, something
Yes.
called a cairn. Okay, I can work with this. So we're going to the park. That's fine. There's plenty of people at the park. We're not. I was just worried they were going to take us to the middle of nowhere and just drop us in the woods or something.
I do not know
Right.
of the ways of your people, Miranda Unit. I know of the ways
Fair
of
enough.
my people.
Okay. In that case, she's gonna stop the conversation because she's not cutting Optinode off. It's just she's starting to use the phone correctly. She's gonna send a text to her mother, just saying she'll be back later, going out with friends.
Don't know that you could send text on these phones back then.
Oh,
you could.
probably not.
Probably not.
She'll
talking
unless someone
about-
tries to stop her, she'll try to call.
Talking about the ways of our people, wouldn't New Yorkers at this time be more afraid of Central Park than the deep woods?
Yeah, probably. Central Park is a scary place in 1990.
You are going to get stabbed 87 times
Absolutely.
by a fentanyl addict.
And then some more.
Yes, but they'll find you in Central Park.
Yes, eventually.
You will be found in Central Park eventually.
Yes. So what
A
might
big-
how might Bryce and Jake and Miles hang out while Miranda's playing with her phone.
She's just having a one-sided conversation as far as you're aware.
Yeah.
Yes, name's Bryce. Is this one of those things where we're like, hey, I'm this tribe and this tribe, or what's the deal? Kind of talking to the group.
Oh.
I guess I say to Bryce.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
My name's Jake Stromfeld. I'm Arun, and about to join WtA Fenris.
Mm-hmm. She just like nods to that very stoic expression.
And you?
Born under the Half Moon Paradox. I'm about to join the Black Furies.
So you're a part of a clan that has a spine, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you can say that. Kinda felt that way, yeah. Even call themselves warriors, to some degree. And... What about this guy? And she points to Miles.
Miles, very quiet in the corner.
Miles.
You're silent without your radio set.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just carry it around with you.
Miles, Last Walker, and looks her up and down the sort of punk. I've seen you at the Roxy or CBGB.
Would I know what it is?
Maybe.
CBGB is a famous punk club in New York, and the Roxy is a nightclub that was famous for having both punk and hip hop acts on the same night, alternating back and forth, so both crowds got to know each other.
Basically, the counterculture.
Since this is the 90s and bouncers weren't too picky on the age, I'm gonna say probably, yeah. Yeah, once or twice.
I have no idea what that is. That's what Jake says.
Music club stuff, yeah.
Good place. If we're all still alive at the end of this, we can go there to celebrate.
That doesn't sound half bad.
What tribe are you gonna join? I suppose since...
Who are you speaking to?
To Miles.
Last Walker, Galliard.
Yeah.
You can see he actually has to stop and remember the word Galliard.
I just
You kinda
realized,
like-
I think we're missing a Ragabash.
We are. Is that the point where we pause the situation and hopefully reconvene in a week with a Ragabash? Seems like the perfect segue, honestly.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
The Ragabash probably just got delayed at the open mic night at the comedy club.
But yeah,
Completely
you have
forgot
to.
about
There's several things that will happen to you guys during the Rite of Passage, which I'm sure that your elders have told you in various words. Your pack will form, and you will have a name for your pack at the end, either chosen by yourselves or by the spirits, and you will have a Garou name for yourselves as well. Who knows what Garou name you will choose for yourself at the end. It's going to reflect some kind of great deed that you do during the Rite of Passage. We'll find
I
out.
imagine mine will probably be related to claws then.
Possibly, yeah. That could happen. That could definitely happen. All right then, my friends. In a week from now, we will see how this pack gets along, starts to realize that there are different roles, that Jake is the protector, Miles is the face, basically, Miranda is the mystic, and Bryce judges you all silently. Or not so
Oh,
silently, as the case
intriguing.
might be. Yeah, exactly. So, thanks anyone who watched for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Follow, subscribe, algorithms, Weaver spirits.
Comment to keep the Weaver spirit company.
Exactly.